you.
Commissioner, I'm calling out. Let me go ahead and do a roll call. I'm sorry, Costello. I'm gonna go ahead and do a roll call so we can go ahead and get the meeting started. Good evening, everyone. This is a special meeting. ANC 5B is having this evening. We're going to go ahead and do a roll call to ensure that we have a quorum. ANC 5B01, Commissioner Carley. ANC 5B03, Commissioner Pereira.
Present.
ANC 5B04, Commissioner Amin. ANC 5B05, Commissioner Costello.
Present.
We do have a quorum. We have 3 people present and 2 not present at this time. And at this time, Commissioner Costello, I'll turn the meeting over to you.
All right, great, thank you. I am actually trying to get my resolution pulled up here for everybody. So, let me see. Let me know if you can see my screen.
Yeah, we can see it.
Yep.
Okay, great. There's some crosstalk, I think. Are we able to mute the folks on the phone or ask them to mute? Okay, so this is the draft resolution that I sent to my colleagues. I don't know if you want me to sit here and read the whole thing. I think you can probably take a look at it if you haven't yet. The first several provisions just describe the general nature of the project.
Would you go through its entirety, since Commissioner Pereira wanted those that were not briefed to be able to see it and hear it in its entirety?
Sure.
Thank you.
So Urban Investment Partners, UIP, proposes to construct a mixed-use development on the west side of the 3700 block of 10th Street Northeast in single-member District 5B05, which would incorporate the landmark Brooklyn Bowling Alleys building at 3726 10th Street Northeast. UIP has submitted an application to the Historic Preservation Review Board to determine whether the project is compatible with the character of the landmark building. UIP proposes that the exterior of the Brooklyn Bowling Alleys building will remain largely intact, except for the installation of a rooftop pool and the replacement of other features such as doors and windows. UIP's proposed 321 unit, 5-story development surrounding the landmark building would have about 100 off-street parking spaces, a bike room, and a facade made of a combination of brick and concrete fiberboard. UIP proposes to include commercial ground floor space to the south of the Brooklyn Bowling Alleys building, and the development to the north of the landmark would be residential. The commissioner for 5B05 held a public meeting about the proposed project on June 14th and discussed the project at ANC 5B's full body meetings on May 25th, June 1st, and June 22nd, and also solicited and received direct detailed feedback, I should say, from dozens of residents. Residents overwhelmingly supported the project, but also offered constructive feedback as to a number of proposed building features that fall within the purview of HPRB's review. And so based on that feedback, I have 3 recommendations that we'd like to make to HPRB with respect to the project. Specifically, that HPRB request UIP and its partners to rework the design in response to the following. Residents expressed concern that the concrete fiberboard on the upper levels was not compatible with the facade of the landmark building, and suggested that a different colored standard size brick be considered, perhaps light gray, tan, or a dark gray color. I think those are some of the options that people proposed, and that be used as the predominant building material to more closely match or complement the landmark building. One resident, an architect, suggested that the manganese brick replace the dark gray concrete fiberboard in the design. And I wanted to mention that because I think UIP also seemed receptive to that idea, and I think Residents seem to appreciate that feedback as well. So I put that in there as an additional suggestion. Let's see, a number of residents also suggested that the building height be reduced or stepped back, particularly on the north end, so that the building does not overpower the landmark or residential homes to the north, and so that the new building more closely matches the human scale of the landmark building, which is a few stories shorter. And lastly, residents recommended that UIP add more open space on either side of the landmark to better differentiate it from the new taller structure, and to showcase and celebrate its distinctive Art Deco features and allow the landmark building to breathe. And one suggestion that is included in parentheses here is that instead of including outdoor dining space at the southeast corner of the project near the intersection of 10th and Michigan, UIP could consider carving out more outdoor space or outdoor gathering space immediately adjacent to the landmark building instead. So that is the I guess, the detailed and general overview of the resolution and everything else, all of our meetings that we had and the feedback that we received from constituents. And I will say that when putting together the resolution, I rewatched the meeting recording from my June 14th meeting, and I also went through, I think, a few dozen emails that I received from constituents and other residents who had offered detailed input as well. And so that's where this feedback comes in. We did also receive a lot of feedback from residents about other issues that unfortunately don't fall within the Historic Preservation Review Board's jurisdiction. So things like traffic, parking, things like that. Unfortunately, HPRB doesn't have jurisdiction to require or prohibit a developer from doing certain things on those issues. But I have been working with UIP. I think we're going to be negotiating a construction management agreement so that, sorry, I think there's some background noise. I don't know if it's a guest on the phone. Commissioner Higgins, I don't know if you were able to mute other participants.
Give me 1 second. I am trying to figure out who it is. So give me one second, please.
Sure.
301
If you can mute your devices, please. There are a number of people on the call. Thank you.
Okay, I think that took care of it. Thank you. So as I was saying, we are working with UIP to get a construction management agreement. And I think we'll negotiate. I don't know who it is. It's still got the TV on. I think Frida was right. It's the 301 phone number.
Okay.
Number's 43.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. So we're trying to get the CMA negotiated. That'll be a few months down the road when we'll have that to bring to residents for consideration. Let's see. I think we also had residents express concern about the availability of parking, and I've talked to a couple of people about figuring out what we can ask DDOT to do. Perhaps by putting in resident-only parking on some of the streets adjacent to the development, so that there's more space available for residents and it's not consumed by guests, visitors, whatever. Gosh, I think we had a lot of other issues that came up. Folks asked UIP to provide more incentives for residents to use bikes or metro, and I think UIP expressed interest in considering that as well. But as I said, all of those things fall outside of HPRB's jurisdiction, and so that's not anything that they can consider or issue a decision on. So I didn't include it in this resolution. I guess one last thing I'll say is that the Historic Preservation Office staff, they issued a staff report after consulting with UIP and reviewing the design, and a lot of their recommendations are similar to ours. And so I think that was helpful to see that staff who work on preservation issues day in and day out had similar concerns as residents. And so I think our resolution incorporated or encapsulates some of the same feedback that HPO also offered. So I guess that's it. I don't know. If anyone has questions, UIP is on. I'm obviously here, so let me know.
Good evening, everybody. This is CJ. And if I can just say something, I'm not sure, Commissioner Costello, to whom you spoke to. I do a lot of walking every day, and I know a lot of people in the neighborhood. And there are residents that are very, very close to 10th and Michigan. They had no idea that that development was going to happen. They are very upset, disgusted, and they feel left out. So I am not sure to whom you, I guess, sent the flyers to. I'm just telling you the feedback that I got from walking the street.
All right. Thank you, CJ. Yeah.
Can I add to? I'm also on the phone.
Yeah. Let me just respond real quick, if that's okay.
But I wanted to add to what Miss CJ just said, because she just added some excellent points.
Sure.
My name is Rosemary. I live a block. I'm only on this call because Miss CJ did excellent outreach. I'm absolutely in 100% agreement with what Miss CJ just said. I'm disgusted and disappointed. I don't know if you're my direct ANC commissioner, but I definitely didn't hear from you in terms of regards to this development.
Rosemary, you said?
My name is Rosemary, yes.
Okay, sure. Rosemary, where do you live? And then I can tell you if I'm
on 9th and Taylor. I live on 9th and Taylor.
Okay. And on the north side of Taylor or the south side?
I live on 9th and Taylor. I live 2 blocks away from 10th and Michigan. I have to walk that way.
Right.
And I also want to just add, because this is the block where mainly a lot of rent control buildings, a lot of apartments are situated, and that development is going to essentially ensure our future displacement. Because guess what? They're going to price us out eventually. This explains why there's so many speculative developments going on where they pop up and kick out the rent control people and put these $500 apartments condos that people cannot afford who live here. It's disgusting that the ANC is sitting here trying to negotiate what color of brick, as opposed to thinking about what to do to keep the income diversity that is currently here because of rent control and because of these longstanding apartments that have been here since World War II. I'm disgusted and disappointed, and I must have that on record because I am disappointed that you guys didn't even actually talk about what will happen in terms of escalating gentrification that's already on fleet in this neighborhood.
And escalating what?
Excuse me for 1
Escalating
second.
gentrification. In the era of Black Lives Matter,
which is our biggest issue in this area. And if you are a real commissioner, you would know that that has been destroying us.
Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't catch who that was. There was some crosstalk.
This is Disha, who also lives on 9th Street Northeast near 9th and Taylor.
Excuse me.
And
Excuse me for 1 second. Excuse me for 1 second. Everybody's input is very important right now, but I would really appreciate it if we don't talk over each other so we can have the opportunity to hear what everyone is saying. And also, I wanted to acknowledge that I'm turning the meeting back over to our chair, Commissioner Carley, since she is on the line.
Yes, thank you so much, Vice Chair. I really appreciate that. And I know the board definitely want to hear from the community, and especially since, we're going through something right now, trying to hold our commissioners accountable, ensuring that they go out in the community and notify everyone who's in a single member district, and most definitely those who are within 200 feet of any major project. So, and I know we haven't asked Commissioner Costello to give us any, I know people just want to say they're going to host a meeting and then put it out to their email blast. But if you don't have at least over 75% of the people within your single member district emails, then that means you're going to have to go out there and hit the pavement and knock on some doors, because I know I have to do it. But we do want to hear from them. And I know Commissioner Costello know my position on notifying the community, if I haven't made it clear over the last several weeks. So if you are finished with your presentation, Commissioner Costello, I'm sure you want to hear back from the community and get their feedback and, find out whether or not they're residents in your single member district.
Yeah, I'd actually like to respond because I think this will address some of what's been alleged. I did actually do direct outreach to the residents who are immediately adjacent to this location. And I left flyers on their doors, I think, about a week before my single member district meeting. And I sent out meeting notices to my email list and to the Brooklyn listserv. So, while it would be great to have 75% of my constituents on my email list, unfortunately, we're not there yet. But, Commissioner Carley and colleagues, I've done what we have asked of each other, which is to send out direct notification to our constituents who stand to be most impacted or who are in closest proximity to a project. And so what I'm sharing with you is the meeting. Oops, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to drag that. The meeting notice that I delivered to residents who live closest to this project. One thing I want to add is that the Historic Preservation Review Board itself is different from BZA, and BZA is what the type of cases that we most commonly deal with in our commission. In BZA cases, the developer is supposed to send out notices to all residents within 200 feet of a project. The Historic Preservation Review Board only sends out notices to residents whose homes are immediately adjacent. They don't go 200 feet in every direction. The meeting notices that I sent out, I believe, went well beyond 200 feet of this project site. So, I feel like we had good participation, and I ended up hearing from, I think, over a dozen people via email yesterday after I sent out, a last call for feedback regarding this project. So, I have no qualms about the outreach that I've done. I know that there are people who are concerned about it, but I also will just reiterate what I've said before in many of our previous meetings, which is that the Historic Preservation Review Board will not address a lot of the concerns that people have. And I'm highlighting here the issues that HPO has told me specifically the board will not consider. The use of the property, light, air, noise, privacy, traffic, views, the removal of trees, etc. Even though HPRB does not consider these issues, I am working with residents who live nearby and with UIP to try and address some of those problems. And as I mentioned at the beginning, we're, Commissioner Carley, I think you might not have been on at this point, but we are working to negotiate a construction management agreement with UIP so that we can address things like, truck traffic, trash, noise, and things of that nature. And I'm sorry.
I really hate to talk over you.
Yeah, let me finish because I'm almost done, okay? Just give me one more minute, I promise, and then we'll take turns, okay? Because I don't want to interrupt anyone either, but I do want to finish. The other issues that residents have raised with respect to parking and traffic and housing prices, let's see, I think in the meeting I had with UIP and separate conversations, I and residents have all asked that UIP figure out a way to try and incorporate that feedback and those concerns into its design. At this point, what the design that we have been shown, which you can see here, is not a final design. And so what UIP has said to me is once it goes before HPRB and HPRB decides whether or not to approve this initial proposed design, it will probably end up having to rework some of this. And so as we continue to go through that process, we will have more opportunity to keep working with UIP to address it. And lastly, on the affordability and housing issue, UIP, I think, is required to include a minimum of 8% of its residential square footage, or excuse me, total square footage as inclusionary zoning. And I think UIP said it was aiming for 15%. So, you know, I am glad about that. I guess the last thing is, you know, this project is a little bit different from a lot of the other projects that have come before our commission. It is not a planned unit development, and so we don't have the same opportunity to negotiate for community benefits like we do with, for instance, the Reed Street project. UIP, if it wanted to, could develop this project by right. We're not, you know, it's not going to zoning and requesting a zoning exemption. It's just asking HPRB, does this design look compatible with the existing historic structure? So all of the things that we normally discuss in a lot of our meetings about big developments, you know, like height, density, inclusionary zoning units, parking, et cetera, those are unfortunately off the table for HPRB. But I think UIP is still willing to work with the community to try and incorporate the feedback that it's able to in this. But, you know, I take your point about housing costs. I think it was Rosemary who said that, and I responded to another constituent via email, I think around 3 o'clock this morning, who had similar concerns. I think this is unfortunately a much bigger question for the city to also resolve. You know, I think there's a debate. I know I said I would be 1 minute. I'm sorry, I'm going over, but we have a lot of issues that people have brought up and probably keep bringing up. There is a broader debate about what the best way is to make housing more affordable. One theory is that by increasing the number of units available, you increase competition between landlords or, you know, homeowners and developers, and that helps keep the prices a little bit lower and more stable. So, you know, if you look at it from that perspective, then including more housing units generally could be considered a good thing. But I just wanted to kind of give everyone more context about this so you understand what kind of project this is and what kind of conversations we've had, the outreach that I've conducted, and what ultimately what authority we have and don't have as an ANC. If we decide not to pass this resolution, then that basically takes away any voice that constituents might have had in trying to, you know, push for an improved design for our community. If we don't weigh in, we don't get great weight from HPRB, and we don't have a voice, and that means you don't have a voice. So that's why we're here to vote on the resolution. And I'm going to mute myself and let everybody else talk now.
So, my name is Glenn Spitzer. I live. My wife is Peggy Asante. We live halfway between 12th and 10th on Shepherd, about a block and a half from the location. We just learned about this a day or two ago, and then when we got on, we had a problem with the cell phone, so we had to wait till we got home because there was an intermittent. So maybe I'm misunderstanding some things, or if I speak about something you've already discussed, I do apologize, because the description of the project was kind of muffled when you went through it. Not your fault, but my reception fault. This project is limited to the electrical supply building. Is that accurate?
No, the electric supply building, which is, I guess, formerly known as the Brooklyn Bowling Alleys, is the historic structure. UIP owns some of the parcels adjacent to the historic structure, which is where I think Enterprise and the other commercial commercial tenants are located in that strip right now. And so what it proposes to do is to build around the historic site while maintaining the
Oh,
historic structure itself.
okay,
The question for HPRB is just whether the new development is compatible with the historic structure.
okay, no. And actually, the development in the picture didn't look terribly ugly. We've got, I guess, somewhere we can find the plan. I didn't get an email. How do I find the plan?
Yep, so it's all on my website. Let me put a link in the chat for you.
Please.
But yes, if you go to my website and look, I would love more people to sign up to my email list so you can find out about these things.
Yes, ma'am.
So let's see here. This is the link to all of the design plans. Give me one sec. So that's
So
that.
I think with that looks like a very big project, and I think part of what we need to worry about as a community is what they have now gives amenities to our community in addition to housing, and we want to make sure that that this area it becomes it stays as much of a walking community and doesn't become less but becomes more walkable. One of the problems that we have is that we have a food desert, and everyone up and down 12th Street is building these these cash machine apartments, and there's nothing on the ground floor. They don't even have wide sidewalks. They just bring them right out to the street, and because that's I guess the way they make the most money. But I don't think a project that size should ever go in without a full service Safeway or grocery store.
Yeah,
You
so
know,
that came up in the June 14th meeting. Real quick, I think, are you on the north side of Taylor Street? I forget where you said you are.
I'm on Shepherd, halfway between 12th and 10th.
Okay, great. Thank you. I just want to make sure I didn't mishear. Yeah, so the grocery store was a suggestion that came up on June 14th. Yep.
Yes. So
And
I mean, the pretense is that they're building through the density, and they're saying that they're not going to cause traffic. But the only way that we don't have a huge traffic problem is if the downstairs offers amenities, so the people there don't drive their cars everywhere, and
Yep.
and it should also give some amenities to the community. Right now, we have amenities.
Amen.
You know, we have amenities, even having where we can walk to an enterprise has value. Definitely a pizza place. They have a garden shop, a veterinary clinic over there. We're not going to sit there and have where they go and have a huge foyer and everything for them and give a little gym in the corner. If you're going to have something that size, there's definitely got to be a lot on the ground level.
So there are commercial spaces that will be put on the ground floor. District Vet, I think, has a long-term lease, and so they're going to remain as a tenant. UIP has not even begun, considering what other tenants that it will have, according to what I was told. But I think there will be an opportunity for more conversations on this. The construction on this project isn't even supposed to begin until sometime in or after summer 2024. So, we're kind of right now at the very initial stages of just figuring out what the design is going to look like.
Yeah, I work in the construction industry. That doesn't mean that. I mean, once you have to get your points in early, or they don't go back. You know.
Yep.
I would just say, sorry to cut in, Commissioner, I know we have folks from UIP online on this call. I wonder if UIP has a project manager or someone whose contact info they can drop in the chat. It sounds like these are all really good suggestions and feedback, and it's important for, I think, the developer to hear these. I don't think, unfortunately, for the Historic Preservation Review Board that they are going to be considering any of this, but I think it's worth emailing those comments and emailing all of those takeaways over to the developer. So as they are considering tenants and as they're considering how they're building out this structure, they're able to take all of that feedback in mind.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Piquera. But I would like to continue to get the rest of the information. This is our time to hear the community. As Commissioner Costello stated previously, they have had extensive meetings with UIP. So this is the time that we would like to hear from the community as a whole in terms of what they think, their feedback, and yes, I think the point should be forwarded, but I do welcome the rest of the feedback. Caroline has had her hand up. Can we go ahead and hear from her?
Yes, hello. Yes. Can you hear me?
There's an
We
echo.
can hear you. You have a slight echo, but we can hear you.
Okay, I'm backing up a bit. My question, I'm wondering if someone from UIP is on the line. And if so, if they can confirm that they do not plan to seek a map amendment for this property, that they expect to do everything they're going to do there based on the current zoning of the property.
Yes, this is Kevin Kilman with UIP. I am on the call, and as is our architect, and as is our zoning council. But I can confirm that we are proceeding with plans as a by right development.
Okay, who is just speaking? I'm sorry.
This is Kevin Kuhlman with UIP.
And your comment again was, sir?
We're intending to proceed with this development as a by right, all according to zoning requirements, parking, density, etc.
Okay. So you are moving forward as by right.
That's right.
No, that doesn't answer my question. My question is, will UIP be seeking a map amendment to upzone the property and then develop it by right?
We're not, the density that is currently allowed for the site is the density we have in our design. No, we're not seeking additional density.
Thank you.
Sorry, Commissioner.
Caroline, do you have any additional questions? Your hand is still up.
Just one other, and that is if Commissioner Costello could please post the draft resolution in the chat.
I think you're muted, Colleen.
Costello, we can't hear you.
Thank you. Sorry. I said I don't have it posted online. It's just on my computer, but do you want me to email it or something? Or is there a provision you wanted to see?
You can't post it for us through your screen.
Oh, I can do that. Yeah, she asked if I could send a link though. I don't have a link to it because it's not online.
I wonder if
yes. Hold on a
if
minute.
Commissioner Higgins or Commissioner Carly can maybe post it on our website. I don't know who all has access to post on the website.
I'm talking about right now. In the meantime, could you just screen share so the people on the call are able to see?
Yeah, hold on a minute, okay? I'm trying to reopen it, so just give me one more minute, okay?
Thank you, Commissioner Costello. In the meantime, we have Greg D. that has his hand raised. Could you please move forward, sir?
Oh, and also, Commissioner, can
Hi,
you
this is Greg Delay. I live on PI Place, which is the street that is immediately adjacent to the property. And I wanted to say that we were approached by Commissioner Costello, and that that the comments that we made and some of my neighbors, immediate neighbor made, were reflected in the resolution put forward by Commissioner Costello. As many of the other commenters have put, unfortunately, the historic designation review board is not the forum where we can bring some of our other concerns. And that's really unfortunate, but we're looking forward to UIP listening to the other concerns that the residents have. including, you know, affordability and height of the building and scale of the building in regards to the rest of the surrounding property.
Commissioner Carley? Okay. Okay, Commissioner Costello, you can proceed.
I don't know if I have much to add. I kind of winded myself earlier. um, but you know, I do feel comfortable with the feedback we have, and again, I think because we had you know, received quite a lot of participation and input in this project, you know, I don't want residents' voices to be silenced. HPRB has its hearing tomorrow morning. So at this point, you know, it's too late for us to request a postponement of the hearing. I do think it's important that we share the feedback that we've received. And if it turns out that HPRB asks UIP to rework the design, which I suspect it may, because a lot of the feedback that has been submitted to HPRB so far has suggested that they do just that, then there may be another opportunity to continue working out, you know, some of the design details and other concerns. But, you know, my request is that we take a vote on the resolution, and if folks would like to stay in touch about all of the other important and legitimate concerns that they have, I would just strongly encourage you to sign up to my email list, and I'll put my I'll put my website in the chat where you can sign up. And I did see a message from someone, I don't know, I haven't been looking at the chat closely, but someone mentioned that they haven't gotten my email. I think we had that problem recently with another constituent. Let me know if that happens to you, and I can send you some tricks that I have had to figure out to get my emails to stop getting marked as spam or stuck in other email filters. And I can send that information to you. But for the most part, once we get those issues resolved, when people sign up to my email list and they, you know, they fix those problems, the email should start going into your inbox.
This is CJ again. Can I ask a question? When can we have a meeting with the residents and the commissioners so we're not silenced, so you can really hear from the people on how they really feel about this project? When can we set that up? Did I miss that meeting? Because I know so many people that are within walking distance, a stone's throw away from that development, and they argued me down that that was not going to happen because they were not made aware of it. So I'm asking all of the commissioners,
what street do they live on, CJ?
We have a meeting with the residents and the commissioners so we can voice how we really, really feel. Take it away.
CJ, I'm sorry, what street was that where you encountered residents who said they hadn't received any notice of the project?
Oh, do you have a pencil and a paper? Because I can go down the list.
Yeah, you said there were some residents who were, quote, a stone's throw from it.
Right
And
there, there on 10th, right behind those fourplex buildings, the condos that are right there. If you want, Commissioner Costello, we can walk this together, okay? And then I'm going to ask the people in the neighborhood to identify you. And let's
okay, let me just respond real quick.
Like who you are.
Okay.
Sherlock Holmes couldn't help them get a clue.
Okay, so yes, like I said, I did distribute paper notices to all of the residents on Perry Place, and I think some on 10th Street as well, who were, as you said, a stone's throw from the project. I also have quite a few constituents on 10th Street who are on my email list and who did get the meeting notice. So, you know, they have gotten it. I don't know that, well, I guess I'll say, you know, I did send out more information to the Brooklyn listserv, which has more than 3,000 subscribers. So I feel like we covered a pretty broad base. CJ, I know that you do have an interest in sending out flyers to the community, and you know, I would like to, you know, we could talk offline, but I'd like to see if you'd be interested in serving as a block captain of sorts, so that you know, we can put your skill and interest to good use. So
Let me ask you the same question that I think I've asked before. How are you reaching the people that do not have computers and listserv? So many of the senior residents didn't even know they had the opportunity to call in. They tell me all the time, CJ, I don't have a computer. I don't know how to do this. I said, you can call in, and they're blown away.
yeah, I always put the call-in phone numbers for all of the meetings in all of the communications that I send out. So that was on the flyer that I distributed.
I have a computer. Let me just get off of here.
So this is, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I had my hand up in the WebEx and I can't unmute myself, so I've called in. I do have two questions. One is a clarifying question and one is related to this resolution. It wasn't until tonight, after 3 weeks of joining these calls, that I recognized is UIP owner of the Brooklyn Center shopping strip. Is that a true statement? Because you keep saying that UIP can do this by right. Does that mean they own that property of that shopping strip?
That's my understanding, but I'll let UIP respond. As far as I know, they're the party responsible for overseeing the development of the project. Kevin? He might not be able to unmute himself, and it looks like the unmute option is locked, so maybe we can.
It's not locked. It is not locked. Everybody is unmuted. Everyone is unmuted. And the attendees can unmute
Unmuted now.
themselves.
Okay.
There's a lock or something on it that I couldn't unmute. This is Kevin Kilman with UIP. We own all parcels but for the parking lot and the historic building itself, but we have letters of intent with the owner, and that is going to be part of our development, and they are actually one of our partners for the project.
So,
and we are the development manager for the entirety of the site, including that parcel.
Okay. Okay, so it sounds like there's a kind of a, we're going to do it no matter what. So the train has already left the station on that one. But my question, if we can influence the resolution on any level, my question is, if this complex has 300 plus units, that's more people to the community, and that's more changes to our infrastructure in this community. How will this developer, or how will UPI and city planning ensure that our utilities will stay intact, that they won't be interrupted, and that our walking past the rec center, access to the rec center, and even to the subway and the middle school that's right next door to this plaza won't become a dangerous zone because we're bringing potentially 300 plus more people to the community?
Well, like I was saying, Commissioner Costello had already mentioned, this isn't the only time we're going to come back to the community. And one of the other times we will come back is during our public space approval process, which is related to sidewalks, related to entrances, all of the curb cuts along 10th Street that currently exist going in and out of the auto body shops and the rental companies, and the parking lots for the plaza, as well as the Atlantic Plumbing. Those are all going to be closed off. There's going to be a wide, fully landscaped sidewalk It's going to be a nice walking street. So we will come to you for that in particular. But as far as utilities are concerned, that is a full in-depth process that we go through in planning with Pepco, with Washington Gas, with the various DC water needs, sanitary sewer, as well as water facilities, all engineered. We have the same interest. We need power, we need water, we need gas, and those will all be engineered and we will work in conjunction with the city agencies as well as with the private utility agencies for that.
An additional question, and thank you for entertaining that. And I would like for in the resolution, since that seems to be the only place where we have influence, to acknowledge and put on record that UIP is going to come back to the community for input on pedestrian traffic and foot traffic and even vehicle traffic to that area. But 3 weeks ago, when I was first introduced to this project and joining the ANC meeting 3 weeks ago for the first time on a different issue, it was said that the construction on this development would take 2 years. As the resident Glenn just mentioned, all of those services that are currently in that plaza, great that you're going to offer them contracts when the project is finished, but it sounds like for 2 years we will go without childcare, veterinarian services, physical therapy, which was what I used that service. I was grateful to have a physical therapy center right in that walking distance of my house. What are we going to do as residents to ensure those services come back to the community?
Well, first things first. Sorry. As far as coming back to the community is concerned, I'll defer to Commissioner Costello. But as part of the Public Space Commission, which we will be mandated to go through with the Department of Transportation, it's required whenever you change curb cuts, et cetera, we will be required to come back to the ANC. That's a requirement. So that there's no me hiding behind that. Nor would I. We will be coming back to you. Similarly with DDOT, we will be coming to the ANC when the time comes to discuss the temporary traffic and pedestrian controls and safety measures that we'll employ during construction itself. So these are times we will definitely be talking to you. This isn't, as I've mentioned to Commissioner Costello, I guess a couple weeks ago when we had the community meeting, that conversation is just starting. This is literally the first time we're meeting you guys. This is where we're talking about the historic building being integrated into the architecture. The planning still has a heck of a long way to go, and things are not completed. So this conversation will continue.
Kevin, can you, I'm going back to us living in a food desert with only a small organic store. If you're trying to put in 300 more residents, why haven't you committed off the bat to put in a full service grocery? And what percentage of the ground floor are you going to put in to amenities to the community?
As far as the retail square footage is concerned, the ground floor has about 22,000 square feet of retail, a quarter of which, 4,000, 5,000 square feet, will be the veterinarian returning back to the community, and the balance being leased. And I can't commit to who's going to be there because I haven't even signed up retail brokers. I haven't finished the design yet.
No. But when people have started communities, when they sell what they say, we will have a flagship grocery store. You haven't said that, which leads us to believe you intend not to do that.
I don't intend not to do that. End of the day,
you have to put a space that can accommodate that much real estate. You have to have parking that allows for it. If you haven't intended to do it, it won't come. It's not magic come from the sky. you know?
As I addressed during our last public meeting, where the communication was the critical retail element was a daycare. I heard at the same meeting.
I mean, we have more daycares in the neighborhood. We're actually a food desert.
Yours is an opinion. Yours is an opinion that was not shared by 50 other people on my last community meeting. So there's a lot of folks who have a lot of needs. And
excuse me, sir. We are going way to the left. I mean, I know everybody has a lot of questions, but it seems to be a one-on-one back and forth. Now, we do have others that would like to speak. Ms. Jelks, yes, you can speak, ma'am.
Thank you, Commissioner Higgins. Just to say, Glenn, we did talk about this at the meeting, and it was about a major retail, grocery store. But one of the things I don't want to just clarify tonight, because I came on for the historic preservation concerns, that you, Kevin, you are definitely coming back, and Commissioner Costello, are you inviting him back for special meetings like tonight to address single district meetings to address those concerns? Because traffic, environmental concerns, those things that are very important to us, and the commitment that you're going to make to the neighborhood, that's important. And we can't discuss this tonight if if your concentration is on historic preservation. So correct me if I'm wrong, that you need to come back to us to discuss these other things in detail.
Yes. If you're asking me, yes. And I actually sent a draft construction management agreement to UIP about some of the traffic concerns that folks have. We haven't finalized it, and I think my plan is to have a community meeting with residents who live nearby on the streets where a lot of those trucks will be coming from and going to, so that they can have input on that as well. So that's my response. If you were asking me, I don't know if you're asking.
Yes, I am addressing you, and I'm also addressing Kevin because he's there. Because I think I've heard this word commitment being thrown around. You do have a commitment to us, as the citizens of this particular community, and we need to know exactly what you are going to do. But that, again, I want you to come back where we can list our concerns, Kevin, and then you can address them. Even we might have to have 2 or 3 special meetings because there seem to be a lot of concerns. But tonight, I just want to, find out. I like to just zero in on why we're here tonight.
I think, first off, there are plenty of opportunities in the future over the course of the next 2 years during our planning where we're going to meet, some mandated and some not, and that's going to happen. And as Commissioner Costello has mentioned, we've been trading emails back and forth about agreements in place during construction primarily. But the dialogue is open, and the communication lines are open between the ANC and ourselves, and they won't be closed, and we're not going to turn our backs. We have to come back in certain instances. That's a commitment. As far as tonight's purpose, I think Commissioner Costello concisely kind of summarized it in the letter that she presented earlier. This is a meeting about integrating the historic landmark building into the architectural elements of the new building. That's what the hearing is about. That's what our meeting tomorrow with the historic preservation team is about. That is what is on the table tonight for questioning.
Kevin, thank you. This is CJ again, and we're sorry that we are just kind of taking this meeting in another direction, but I want you to see it from our standpoint. My question is again, when are we going to have an opportunity to speak or ANCs who were elected to represent us in the area. And like I said, Commissioner Costello, you're welcome to walk the neighborhood with me, and I'll show you the people, and I'll ask the people to identify you because they don't know you.
Hi, CJ. Yeah.
At one point, I was the ANC person.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And I'm sorry, Kevin, that we are kind of railroading this meeting, but please understand, we don't have an opportunity to voice this. We've been asking for this, and you see, I've been asking for it, and I still don't have a response. Thank you.
Okay. I kind of feel like we've addressed the request for continued engagement. Well, I think
the
yeah, go
chair would
ahead.
like to speak because she's been trying to talk and hasn't been able to jump in. Commissioner Carley.
Thank you so much. I am sorry I am having technical difficulties trying to get into this meeting, and I'm trying to get on here for probably about 6 o'clock just so I wouldn't have this problem. So I'm hearing a lot of complaints, and so Commissioner Costello, are you trying to take a vote tonight? I'm just wondering. I just want to get that out of the way first.
Yes, ma'am. The hearing is tomorrow, so we don't have time to request a postponement. There's nobody at HPO or HPRB to answer emails at this point.
Well, wait a minute now, because I know I have told, developers, and I have told people who say they don't have time because of one thing or another. But, we got to make sure we don't make any errors, in this process. Because we're going through a whole host of problems right now because of a commissioner who, we don't think went out in the community and got feedback like they should have. And all I'm saying is I understand you're saying this is a preservation, historical preservation, and this, is not exactly, a development thing, but one thing leads into the other. So if we vote and you get the votes you need for this developer to get historical preservations to be able to allow him or her or whomever's involved to do this, then we're doing exactly that.
Actually, let me just clarify. The drafted resolution is not asking HPRB to approve the project as it was originally proposed. It's asking HPRB to send the project back to the drawing board. So this is not just us signing off on what was presented to us by UIP. This is a resolution that incorporates all of the feedback that we received. And I happen to believe that the feedback we received was pretty considerable. I think I received about at least 30 emails, phone calls, text messages, and had in-person conversations. And in addition, we had, I believe, it was at least 50 people, probably more, on my single member district meeting who participated. So I know the word got out, and I've been reading through the chat that there are residents who live well beyond the immediate vicinity who also knew about the meeting. So I do want to say too, I think one of the important parts of civic engagement, which is kind of what we're talking about here, is engaging. And I think that requires participation on both sides, right? Like I have gone to great lengths to put information out about the meeting. And
I understand what you're saying. So what I'm asking you is, those who are on the meeting right now, because I can't see it and I haven't, reviewed it as of yet. Can you pull that resolution up for those who are on the, who are able to see it? For those who cannot, because you said it was simple, it wasn't, can you read it to them so they can have an opportunity to see it?
I did read it at the beginning of the email.
Commissioner. Yeah, Commissioner Costello read through it in its entirety.
I'll put it up again on the screen share. If that's what you're asking.
She's Commissioner Costello has read it. I asked that she had read it. She read it, and we have went through that portion already. But I guess the question is at this point, because there are a lot of questions concerning next steps, but tonight we're talking about the historic preservation piece.
Correct. If I might, sorry, just to chime in, and I know that Nikki has been very, very patient to have her hand up.
There are three people with their hands up, and Commissioner Colley has been trying to talk throughout the whole discussion. So can we just allow her the opportunity to do so? And then we'll go back to the four people that have their hands raised.
Okay, just one point I want to make because I think this is relevant.
Commissioner Picaro, could you please?
Okay, we heard you. Okay, we heard you. Now my question is to those who are on, who have heard or read resolutions, what do they have problems with? So those four people who have their hands up, if they could just give some feedback on the historical preservation part of this and the resolution, that would be helpful.
So we'll start with Ms. Jacquard, then Disha, then Nikki Davis, and then Jonathan Mellon, in that order. Okay, Ms. Kathy, you have the floor.
Thank you, Commissioner. I just have a suggestion. I had it in the chat. And as to just the historic preservation piece, I don't have any issues necessarily with the recommendations. Would echo all the other issues that people have raised, that we can address with the developer in the future. But I don't know that the phrase while the project the residents overwhelmingly supported the project is necessary for the resolution, and I would request that that be removed from the resolution.
Kathy, that's fine, and I think that's fair. What I was intending to get at was that the residents who provided feedback overwhelmingly supported it, but I understand your concern about that, and I don't want to distort what I don't want to excuse me, I'm sorry.
Could you please mute yourselves if you're not speaking?
I don't want it to come across as distorting your own views, Kathy, or other residents' views if they happen to disagree with our request that different materials be used, that the height be
all those
lowered.
things are fine. It just that clause is, if that's on the record right now, I don't know that that's necessarily accurate about the project as a whole.
That's fine.
And that's how it comes across.
Yep. Okay. I deleted it from the draft. I don't think it makes a material difference to, what we're ultimately asking for, but I know it's important to you. So yes, that's totally fine.
Okay. Can we go to Disha, please?
That's actually a great segue. I'm Disha and I live on 9th Street Northeast between Randolph and Taylor. And I would say that if you surveyed the surrounding neighborhoods, like if you did an actual rigorous survey of, let's say, University and the surrounding Brooklyn area, I guarantee you that the overwhelming majority of people in this area oppose the development overall. I'm talking about the overall development, not the historic preservation singular issue here. Second, I'm just curious about who it is that is going to fill this development. And, we've seen, for example, in Noma nearby, these huge apartment buildings with new units. Who is coming to these units? Like, who is it that is going to be coming into DC?
Ms. Disha, I don't think Commissioner Costello has had a meeting in reference to that. But right now, this evening, we're just talking about the historic preservation piece of it, because that's what we're voting on this evening.
No, I understand. I understand you're talking about the historic preservation thing, but what I'm talking about is the historic preservation of the neighborhood.
I understand that, but I'm talking about for the sake of this meeting, we're trying to give feedback in reference to the resolution that Commissioner Costello currently has before us. That's what we're here to discuss tonight. And I'm sure Commissioner Costello will be having additional meetings in reference to what's upcoming.
Okay, well, the question still stands and have gone unanswered,
ma'am.
which is which is who is coming, who are the people that are actually going to be coming into these new buildings in Brooklyn, even or in the surrounding areas. Like, who is it that, where is the demand? I don't even understand what people are going to be coming in. And I'd be curious to know, who are you building these for? Who are the are they out of state? Are they from Maryland? Are they from Maryland? Are they from Virginia? Like, who are these units for?
Can you hear me? I think the question would be to the developer is, are there 1, 2, 3 bedroom units, and how much they are going to, are they selling them? Are they going to be condos? Are they going to be rentals? And how much will they be rented in or selling them for condos?
Yeah, so I'm curious about that. I'm also literally curious at a factual level, like who, like what states or what places are these people coming from?
So yeah, let me just jump in real quick. I'll let UIP answer this. I don't know that they have a definitive floor plan in place yet because the design hasn't been finalized. So I don't know that they've articulated, how many bedrooms each unit would have. They are planning on, I think they're planning on including around, I think they said, was it 15% IZ units, Kevin?
8% guaranteed.
Eight minimum,
The
up to
number is
15.
still in flux. Commissioner Costello's accurate. We're saying in this plan set 320 units, but the reality of the situation is we haven't even hired an interior designer yet. We have an architect who's working on the exterior facade and trying to integrate a historic structure into that facade. The interiors haven't been designed. We do believe that a quarter or more of these units are going to be 2 bedrooms at a minimum, and some that are larger, 2 bedrooms and a bath, 2 bedrooms and a den, 3 bedrooms, multi-bathroom units. That mix has not been decided yet. There will be 1 bedrooms. There will be 1 bedrooms and dens. There will be junior 1 bedrooms. There may be studios. There's going to be a mix of different units. We haven't determined that as of yet. As to who is moving in yet into this, I suspect it's going to be a lot of folks that already live in the neighborhood. There's going to be single families. There's going to be young families. There's going to be young professionals. The adjacency to a metro is folks who don't want to live downtown in Metro Center or cannot afford to live there, or Southwest DC. This might be an option. There may be students from Catholic University or professors. There may be a fair share of folks that work at the hospital. There's going to be it's going to be people who probably already live in Brooklyn in some fashion, and others who are living within the DC are going to be moving there. As to where people from out of state, I'm speculating. If I could say, I know that.
Okay, so
And then
can we go back to Nikki Davis? Nikki Davis, and then after Ms. Davis, Jonathan Mellon.
Thank you very much, commissioners, and thank you, everyone. And we also have a lot of technical difficulties as well. And Commissioner Costello, thank you personally for responding to me by the chat, because that's the thing that I could deal with the best. So, and Kevin, thank you so much for being here and witnessing the huge problem and divide we're having in Brooklyn, and particularly this single member district. And you can feel by the passion, there is a lot of issues. And I almost got finished putting in the chat about the historic areas of Brooklyn that are in just this single member district that we've already talked to the Preservation Society with. And so, Kevin, I just apologize for any mix-up, because you have a lot of diversity here, both in ethnicity and culture, and it's based on what is historic in this neighborhood. So I want to really thank Disha for speaking of that, and really thank those who are talking about the food deserts, because that's part of the Black history here in the single member district. And we have a very rich Black history here, and we have not been able to achieve all of the paperwork to get the certain buildings that are supposed to be up. So I just want to correct anybody who doesn't know that this is extremely historic, this area, and these are very, very important issues. And because we've already worked with the Historic Society, I'm pleased to hear, Kevin, that you all are considering preserving that front is extremely important. And what you hear will be consistently will be the problem is the up zoning that goes behind the historic issues. And it is a level, and Kevin, I cannot stress how important this is. It is so important that it is for Black seniors in this neighborhood. And you'll hear exactly why, and you'll be able to have it codified, and you will understand why so many generational Black seniors in this area have been extremely upset. So much so upset, not only because we can't translate in the new technology, but it has been over 2 years that we have not been able to participate in this discourse. We're used to a very different way of engaging with our commissioner and with developers like you, and we haven't been able to do that for over 2 years. So please excuse our passion, our anger. Mine is rage, R-A-G-E, because I've seen the seniors die because of issues that are not addressed between developers and our mayor and our council, and then it trickles down to our commissioners. So we're having a huge problem, and just hold on, because there are many people who are willing to die, and I'm one of them, and you can put that down, because I have 2 neighbors, 3 neighbors on either side who have been carried out by body bags because of policies and the way that we engage with new development and upzoning. So just look out for that. Thank you so much for your patience. It is going to be a very serious run, because I am going to fight you tooth and nail, because I'm fighting for my life, and I'm fighting for
Ms.
Black.
Davis.
So thank you so much.
Thank you, and we're going to move on to Jonathan Mellon, and then at that time, we're going to move forward with our vote. The time is currently 7:53. Mr. Mellon, you have the floor.
Good evening, Commissioner, commissioners, members of the public. I just wanted to introduce myself. We didn't get to do that at the beginning. My name is Jonathan Mellon. I'm an architectural historian with the firm of Goulston and Storrs, and I'm part of the development team. And I am here to answer any questions you have related to the Historic Preservation Review Board meeting, which, as Commissioner Costello noted, is tomorrow morning. Just so you all know, we are second on the agenda. We're scheduled to start at 9:45. The schedule can be a little funky, so if you want to watch it, you should probably join the meeting a little bit early. I used to work at the DC Historic Preservation Office, and everything Commissioner Costello has said this evening is spot on. The board will be focusing on the compatibility of the new construction with the historic landmark. We will be back to you. I can say that on behalf of Goulston and our client UIP. On all the other items, as Kevin correctly noted, we are really at the beginning here, and we are just trying to figure out, this is really the first step in many, in that we need to know from the Historic Preservation Review Board, is this what we're proposing in terms of the massing and scale even possible? And so after we have our meeting, and there will likely be more than one, the HBRB, then we will have a better idea of what is actually going to go into the building. So I know there's a lot of passion, and I think that's great. I know this neighborhood well, and Ms. Davis, I thank you for your comments. One of my close friends who passed away, we used to work with at the DC Historic Preservation Office, Patsy Fletcher, who some members of your community I'm sure knew, who was passionate about African-American history in Washington, DC. We walked Brooklyn many times, and I know our development team is committed to a compatible project. And this is really just the beginning of the conversation. And we don't feel you've hijacked the meeting at all. I know I speak for Kevin that we really appreciate you all taking the time, going on 2 hours now, to meet with us and let us hear from you. And we look forward to continuing the discussion. So I'll just close with that, and thank you again.
All right, Commissioner, Carly, you have the floor. Yes, go ahead.
So where are we? It's 7:56. So everyone understands that this is basically a vote for the historical preservation. And you did the resolution, and basically, can you explain why the historical preservation, they want this vote so that I guess the developers don't go outside certain boundaries? Am I correct about that, Commissioner Costello?
Yeah, my understanding, and I think Jonathan is kind of the preservation expert on this meeting, but he can fill in whatever I miss. My understanding is that when you have a landmark structure, any development that touches it, whether interior or exterior, needs to go before HPRB. And this project would both touch that building and surround it. And so any development around the building also is being reviewed for its compatibility. So that's what we're considering.
Okay.
Thank you, Commissioner Costello. The DC preservation law requires the Historic Preservation Review Board to give great weight to the ANCs. And so they, in almost every project, will get a resolution from an ANC, either expressing full support, full opposition, or somewhere in between. So they want to hear from you on design-related issues, whether you have suggestions. I think you've come up with some very good ones. And as Commissioner Costello noted, a lot of these are the same as ones that were raised in the staff report from the Historic Preservation Office, as well as some other preservation organizations that we've met with.
Okay, and so I guess so basically it is a matter of right, but this is also about protecting the building itself, or the structure itself, correct?
Correct. That's the reason that we're going before the Historic Preservation Review Board. There is a historic landmark in the middle of this site, which we are adding on to. And so we need to seek approval from the Historic Preservation Review Board.
Okay. Commissioner Costello?
Yes, ma'am. I can pull up the resolution again. Okay. And I will show you, I don't know if Caroline is still on. Caroline, I did take out I think the word was overwhelmingly per your request. And so that's the only edit that I made. Otherwise, it's the same as the one that I sent everybody and read earlier. So we're just requesting that that UIP.
Sorry, can you scroll back up just one sec?
Yeah, sure. We're requesting that HPRB have UI.
I had requested that you take out the while residents supported the project. I don't think that's necessary.
Oh, I thought you said overwhelmingly. I'm sorry.
That whole while. Great.
Unnecessary.
Are my
You could write residents overwhelmingly oppose the project.
I'm sorry. Are my colleagues amenable to that edit?
Yes, I'm amenable to removing that information if it's
Okay.
not so.
Yes.
Okay, so what we are requesting is that HPRB have UIP reconsider the facade materials, the building height, and the location of open space next to the landmark structure. That's it.
All right.
And if you want me to scroll up or down, let me know.
Okay, any other questions prior to our chair taking the meeting back over from the commissioners?
No, I don't have any. Oh, yes, now.
Yeah.
Commissioner Carly, did you need me to read anything for you? I don't know if you were on when I read this earlier. I know I sent it via email, but if you need me to read anything, let me know.
She can see it. She can see it. It was just her audio. You couldn't hear her. So
Oh, okay. Got it.
she can see, but you can't hear her.
Okay.
So, and I guess those who are on the meeting right now. So I guess that was the only thing that bothered or that, something, and I can understand because that would make an overall general statement that, everyone agrees with it when they do not. So is there anything in there that you find to be leaning one way that's not definitely, a true statement? Commissioner Higgins, since you can see it, that I can't.
No, she did pull out the information. What you saw earlier was the information before she extracted the information about the residents overwhelmingly concurring with the information.
I'm sorry, what was that? There's some.
You have the floor.
Okay, then I'd like to put this resolution on the floor for your consideration and hopefully your support.
Okay. A motion has been placed on the floor by Commissioner Costello. You're going to do the full motion, Commissioner Costello?
Yes, I will read the name of the resolution. I move that the commission approve the resolution regarding Historic Preservation Review Board Case 22-328, the Brooklyn Bowling Alleys building at 3726 10th Street Northeast.
A motion has been placed on the floor. Is there a second?
I'll second the motion.
A motion has been placed on the floor and seconded by Commissioner Pereira. Call for the vote. ANC 5B05.
Oh, I'm sorry. Are you asking me to vote first?
Yes.
Okay, aye.
ANC 5B03.
Aye.
ANC 5B01. And ANC 5B02. Aye. The motion has been placed on the floor and it has been seconded and it has, the ayes have it unanimously.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And I appreciate, I know, right? I appreciate residents' feedback too.
Commissioner Costello,
Yes,
could you share with the individuals that are on the call when you will be meeting with them again so you can provide them updates in reference to the various questions they had this evening? And I believe Ms. Davis also put in the chat that she wanted to know if the information is being recorded. Yes, it is being recorded. She wanted to know if it was reserved for truthfulness, so we need to go back and hold people's feet to the fire that we can. So thank you so very much. It's been a great evening. You guys, go ahead, Commissioner Carly. Okay.
Do we have another, sorry, just one, do we have another resolution on the agenda?
We have to approve.
Okay, perfect. Sorry.
I'm sorry, Commissioner Pereira.
That's all I was clarifying.
Okay.
They short and to the point.
So everyone should have received the minutes in the email. And could you check to see if you have, and if you would please review them so we can move forward. And we should be approving minutes for the month of June as well as minutes for the month of May.
Yes, ma'am.
Would you like for me to pull them up if you're unable to view them?
I have them. I don't know if anyone else needs them. Commissioner, I think Higgins, you had asked about meetings or next steps. And
before I was interrupted, my question was,
yes, let me tell
you setting up additional meetings for your constituents in regards to the additional questions that they had.
Yep. So I am putting my website in the chat. I need people to sign up to my email list so I know how to contact you. I don't have your email address without that. You have to give it to me. So my email, my website is going in the chat here in just a second. go to that website and there's a place where you can join the email list. Please do that and let me know you want to be in touch about the UIP project, and we'll make sure we get you on the list. Okay.
Okay, so do I need to pull up the minutes for May and June, or have you been able to review them?
I'm reviewing them now. I don't think I need you to screen share, but if you just give me a minute or two.
No problem.
I tried. It won't let me go in. It's asking me for a password.
Okay, so everybody ready to go forward with approving the minutes for May and June? Commissioners?
I'm just finished.
Commissioner Carly, are you ready to move forward with voting on the minutes for May and June?
I'm just reviewing June real quick. I did May. They came in, I think, after our meeting started, so I hadn't had a
Yes,
chance
they
to look at
did.
them. Yeah. Okay. Give me one more minute.
Okay, that's why I asked if you wanted me to bring them up. We could bring them up, or however you want to do it.
So I actually.
Oh, I have an edit. No, it's okay. Go ahead.
I was gonna say on the May minutes, I actually have a couple of
I beg your
edits.
pardon. I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
On the never mind, we're fine.
Are you asking a question? Are you saying you're okay? I mean, you have a.
I have to go back and look at the recording, but I don't think for the May minutes, under the treasurer's report, where there's the motion on the floor to reimburse, it has me down as a yes, but I've got to go back and look. I don't think I was able to join for the full meeting. I was having some connection issues that night, and so I know there was one vote I was able to call in and vote for, which I believe was the Metro for All Amendment Act, but I don't think the other votes I was able to vote for.
I believe you are correct. I'm not sure if you missed that one, but I think you did sign on to vote for Commissioner Costello's resolution. So I believe you are actually correct.
Yeah, that would be my only amendment for the May meeting, and I can go back. I think it was the Metro for All one that I was able to join and vote on, but I can go back and look at the recording after. Okay, perfect. Then yeah, if we can just change me to not voting on the other ones, that would be helpful.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and start with May meeting minutes. I place a motion on the floor to approve May's meeting minutes from Wednesday, May 25th, 2022, to amend Commissioner Patera's vote in reference to the reimbursement pay under the treasurer's report. So that would include Rick States, Commissioner Main, from the balance of $14,394.74 to reimbursing Commissioner Carly for $354.65, as well as for which says placement to reimburse. And I think that's the only portion. The second portion, you did sign in for Commissioner Costello's votes. So, all right, so that motion has been placed on the floor with the amendments. Is there a second? The motion has been placed on the floor and seconded by Commissioner Costello. Call for the vote. ANC 5B01. ANC 5B03. ANC 5B05.
Aye.
All right, the motion has been placed on the floor and has passed 3 ayes. So it has passed on the floor, and we are off to our June minutes, meeting minutes. Do you need a little more time for that as well?
I reviewed them and had a couple of edits. So for the first two resolutions, it says there were no abstentions, but it looks like we actually had one abstention for each. So we
One abstention from Commissioner Maine. Yeah, it does say Commissioner 5B054 abstain. It does say that, but it's text after that that says there are no oppositions, no abstentions, the motion passed. So it just needs to be added that there were no oppositions, one abstention, and the motion passed.
So that is the first thing. And then the other thing is I think we just need to correct the name of this group here. In the next paragraph, it should say Greater Brooklyn Intergenerational Village, I think, right? Is that what we meant to write?
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
And also, just so we'll be consistent, under Commissioner Costello's resolution, again, Commissioner Amin abstained from that vote as well.
Yep.
So that needs to be corrected to say there were no oppositions, one abstention, but the motion passed.
Right.
I think, and if we move further down, okay, yes, of course. Okay, yeah, he said aye to his own resolution. So my question, did he abstain from this vote, commissioners, or did he vote? This is for Jim, Commissioner Costello and Commissioner Pereira.
I don't recall. I'd have to go back and watch the video.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay, okay, well, I won't get into that whole dialogue. Okay, so, can we get a motion placed on the floor?
Because otherwise, I don't know if I would have allowed him to put it on the floor.
Okay, no problem. So, all right, I would like to place a motion on the floor to approve June's meeting minutes with, the changes discussed for the resolution for 1510 Monroe Street, applying the one abstention for the resolution for the 4-unit on 705 Quincy Street, as well as adding that there was one abstention. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, the motion has been placed on the floor and second. Call for the vote. ANC 5B05. Commissioner Costello.
Sorry, I didn't realize I was still muted. Aye.
ANC 5B03, Commissioner Pereira. ANC 5B01, Commissioner Carly.
Yes.
Okay, the motion has been placed on the floor. 3 ayes, the motion passes. All right, is there any other business of the evening?
I think we have the PUD for Reed Street, correct?
Yes.
So I'm not sure if there's any discussion about the PUD, or if, I know Commissioner Amin's not here, I'm happy to introduce it to the floor myself. Or if you want to take questions first, I'm not sure what order we want to do this in.
I believe we're just taking a vote this evening. We're not going through a full presentation. Is that correct or incorrect?
I hope that's correct.
I hope that's correct too.
All right, can we get someone to place that motion on the floor, please?
Yeah, real quick, just to clarify what the motion is that we're placing on the floor, are we voting on the draft resolution that I shared with edits? I think it's similar to the one that we circulated a couple of weeks ago. Or are we taking a general vote on something?
Okay. Commissioner Carly, Commissioner Carly, your statement was?
Neighbors brought out and body bags, and this has got a long history
Wait a
here,
minute,
and I'm gonna fight you tooth and nail. I know what you're talking about.
excuse me. I know someone's having a private conversation. Could you please mute yourself so we can finish conducting business? Thank you. Commissioner Carly, you have the floor.
You're muted. Resolution. Is it something that is pretty straightforward that you could just say it was just one or two things?
I mean, Commissioner Costello, you can speak to it. I don't think it's changed since we reviewed it last time.
Yeah, there were a couple of changes, but it was just to add text about the traffic calming provisions that are in the community benefits agreement. It's just the same text that's in the CBA about traffic calming. There were a few provisions that I inadvertently left out because the way that they were numbered and lettered, I didn't realize that the traffic calming provisions continued past the ones that I had originally included in there. So that's the only change. Other than that, everything's the same. Let me find it for you real quick so I can put it up
I
here.
have it up if you want me to share it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that'd be great. Thanks.
Go ahead, Commissioner Carly.
Yeah, honestly, to tell you the truth, if we're going to remove, so you're going to add amenities as far as traffic calm, and I have thought about this for, I'm tossing terms over this. Removing the greater Brooklyn intergenerational group from that, as well as removing the Brooklyn Civic Association. And the reason why I say this because in that conversation and when I reviewed the minutes or reviewed the conversation that was recorded and asking, how did these other groups end up with this money? And, one of the Commissioner Amin said that Brooklyn Civic Association's leadership or they or whoever, but he did mention that name as being one of those who was literally doing the, let's give it to this person, and this person as far as money. And the fact that Commissioner Amin is closely associated with Brooklyn Civic Association, as well as hosted every meeting they held with Brooklyn Civic Association, I think that's a conflict of interest.
So I don't know, Commissioner Costello might be able to speak on the process for this. I believe since our resolution itself doesn't lay out the specific groups, it just lays out the CBA as a separate attachment, which was something that was negotiated, to your point, without, it sounds like, any of our involvement. I don't know that because that was done with 5B04 and the developer, I don't know that we have authority to edit the CBA. I could be wrong, but I think for the purposes of our resolution, we don't name the specific groups. We just say community benefits agreement. So I'm not exactly sure how we would address the removal of specific organizations.
Well, no, because actually that was part of the conversation that we had in our last meeting, is should we just take out those organizations that he was closely associated with that reap the benefits of him, either sitting on the board or literally a member or literally, involved heavily with each one of those organizations. And that was part of the discussion. Basically, he's benefiting. And those who he's, the organizations that he is affiliated with, they are benefiting as well. So if we're not, because I think that's what we discussed, and it was brought up by 3 commissioners out of 4. So I do remember that very well. And I think I heard it when I was going through the recording. So if that's not something we can do, I don't think that we're ready for a vote. And keep in mind that there's only 4 of us voting, and we got to have more than 2 people that agree to this. Otherwise, we had a deadlock.
And I think that means it fails, correct? Parliamentarian.
I'm sorry, would you repeat that?
I said, I think in the case of a 2-2 vote, it's not a deadlock. Actually, the motion fails.
That's correct.
No, that's not what I said. I don't know what two people it will. I'm just giving you information. If we don't have more than three people, it's only 4 of us voting. So if at least 3 of us do not agree, and if it splits in half, then we're at a deadlock and it doesn't go one way or the other. We just can't revisit it at this meeting. We can revisit it at another meeting, providing the votes change one way or the other. I don't know if we're going to be at a deadlock. I'm just giving you that information.
So the only thing I'll say is based on the meeting last time, I believe what we were, I think we all had concerns about the specific organizations and the process. My understanding from the developer and others based on their hearing time was this is the community benefits agreement that was weighed in with the 200 footers. And it sounds like Commissioner Amin had a group of folks that he had in the process. I know not all of us have visibility into what that was, but my understanding is they figured that out. This is the community benefits agreement. And that's in our resolution. So I think it was a binary, like either we keep the community benefits agreement in as is, or we don't support it as is. I don't think that we had an option to change it. And so while I think that we, one potential response then is to just remove the community benefits agreement from our resolution altogether. My hesitation with that is there's, I think, over $500,000 for other organizations in 5B that would, and the all of the housing, MFI, the affordable housing, and all of those things are also included in the community benefits agreement. So I'm just a little concerned about. I hear what you're saying. I think it might just be something where we have to vote on. And to your point, if it doesn't pass, it doesn't pass.
And what I am saying, I don't know what the other 3 commissioners are saying, but what I am saying is this: if we allow someone to do something that's unethical, that hurts probably half the people in his area, and only support those he's supposed to be affiliated with, we are supporting corruption. This is the problem we have right now, that we think that after it's done, no matter how much, hand palming, greasing, whatever they want to call it, no matter how unethical it was, no matter how many violations that he committed in the process, because we don't want anybody to literally, not benefit from this. We gotta let those who violated an ethical violation that we all are supposed to be living up to. So why do we have to give in to them? We're the ones following the rules.
Yeah, I think my only thing I'd say is I agree with you on the ethical piece. My understanding is that it's not illegal. What Commissioner Amin did isn't illegal, while I agree frowned upon and probably less than transparent that we'd hope for. And if there are repercussions, and if, to your point, some of the things, if someone raises that to Bega and Bega investigates and finds that Commissioner Amin acted improperly, then I think that's something that they address with him. I'm not sure that for our purposes in a vote in front of us, obviously everyone just vote the way you want to on this, but I think we still have a responsibility to take the vote.
Okay, so wait a minute. So you're saying that he sits on a board of an organization that he just put in a packet so that they could receive $100,000, and so we're supposed to say, well, you know what? Let Vega deal with that. We're just going to go forward with the fact that anybody can do it anytime, and then they could just recuse themselves and then say, continue forward with it. How many other commissioners you think would do that?
Commissioner Carley, I think we just need to put the vote on the floor We had something in the chat, and this is the second or third time I've seen that same comment. Where a young lady just stated, well, Hanover said that they really don't need our vote anyway. So, you know, let's just move forward. We've been beating this horse forever. So let's move forward.
Okay, so I guess with that, I will put the resolution on the floor with the traffic calming additions that Commissioner Costello added to it. And let me 1 second, I can pull it back up if needed.
And keep in mind, these are not
I think there's a bit of echo and, okay.
It applies to that mini packet as well as the PUD.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that would be
Thank
this
you, Sarah. I
resolution.
appreciate that.
Right, so it's this resolution, the community benefits agreement, maximum number of parking spots is 267, no more than a 0.40 ratio. We list out based on the community feedback, the various traffic safety, and I'm happy to read through all of it or some of it. And then the affordable housing designations. So 5% at 35% of the gross floor area for 30% MFI, 5% at 50% MFI, 80% at 60% MFI, and 10% of the GFA for 80% MFI. They've also adjusted the CBA to include 4 3-bedroom units in the project.
All right.
Okay. So basically, a motion is put on the floor to support the PUD, that's the Reed Street, Franklin Street development, to include less parking spaces and including the affordable housing. What was it? It went from 3 to 6. Is that what you're saying?
I think there was originally 2 3-bedrooms and we went up to 4 3-bedrooms.
Okay, and so basically it went from 2 to 4 bedrooms?
Yeah, of the 3-bedroom unit.
Okay, and
3-bedroom affordable unit, I should clarify.
And as well as the community packet that is have identified organizations to benefit from the developers building this PUD at Reed Street and Franklin Street. Did I forget anything?
I think that's it.
Okay, so the motion is put on the floor. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Commissioner Costello has seconded the motion to support the PUD Reed Street Development Project to include changes to the affordable housing units, as well as parking, as well as the traffic safety. Am I correct?
Correct.
Okay, so I didn't leave anything out. Okay. It's been seconded, and now I will call for the vote. Roll call vote. ANC 5B05.
Aye.
ANC 5B05 said aye. ANC 5B03.
Aye.
ANC 5B03 said aye. ANC 5B02.
Nay.
ANC 5B02 say nay. ANC 5B01, Commissioner Carney, nay.
Is a parliamentary inquiry, is a chair allowed to cast a tie-breaking vote?
So you
Oh,
look that up, and you can look it up in the ANC. So yes, I can. Trust me, I've already looked it up. You should know that by now.
okay.
So the votes are split, and we're at a standstill, and the motion is not moved or passed.
I can confirm the answer to my question if you'll give me a minute.
And basically, you still have to have more than 2 people. I can break a tie or I can vote.
I'm sorry, that broke up a little bit. Can you say that one more time?
I said I can break a tie vote or I can vote. Yeah.
Oh, okay. No, I know you can vote. I just didn't know if the chair was allowed to cast a tie-breaking vote. That was what I was wondering.
Oh, yes, I can. Most definitely.
I thought I had read otherwise, but okay.
All right. If there's nothing else, our meeting
Could
is.
I ask a question about minutes and taping a meeting?
Okay, Commissioner. Yes, ma'am, go ahead.
Okay. Here's a scenario. You're in a meeting like a meeting setting that we're in right now, and the tape recorder is going, okay? Then at the end of, I'd say, a group meeting, there's only maybe 4 or 5 individuals that are left that are speaking with their commissioner. Does the commissioner turn off the recording, or should the recording continue to play?
Well, we don't stop the recording. It continues to play once it's recorded.
Okay, so the commissioner should not stop a recording at the end of a large group meeting and there's only 4 or maybe 5 people left at the meeting and the recording is turned off?
Well,
it should not occur?
If you're referring to a full body meeting like this one with ANC 5B and all members present,
yes.
Yeah, it's required to be recorded and made available to the public. For single member district meetings, the same law does not apply because it's not, it's not a full body meeting. So the law applies to ANCs as a body, not to individual commissioners or single member district meetings. So some of my colleagues may have meetings that are not recorded and that's their prerogative. I sometimes have meetings, which I think is the one that you're probably referring to, where I know residents may want to discuss sensitive issues. Perhaps it pertains to
the parking issue.
Perhaps it pertains to crime in their neighborhood or other things, and they don't want that recording being made public. And so, out of respect to them and in the interest of privacy and also encouraging more robust and fulsome conversations with my constituents, I won't record those parts of the meetings.
Okay, this, Commissioner Costello, this is the one meeting that you were very, very passionate in, and you broke down crying because of the 5-year-old that was hit. That was the reason, I guess, that inspired you to put all of the no parking, I call them PVC poles, around, and that was, I guess, the catalyst for this. That's the meeting I'm talking about. Do you remember that one?
Yeah, so let me just clarify because I think that's not quite accurate. Yes.
But no, only that's what's accurate is that the tape was turned off.
That is true, and for the reason I already explained. Yep. But as I explained in that meeting,
yes.
So if you're talking about the no parking restrictions, that was not something that I requested, and that's what I just wanted to clarify for you. So
okay.
I have sent you a couple of emails requesting some more feedback, I think, about the parking
we're talking
issue.
about recording turned off. That's all I wanted clarification on, Commissioner Costello.
Okay, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, go ahead. If you
Commissioner?
wouldn't mind responding to my email too, I think that would be helpful so we can try to reach resolution on this issue.
Okay, so for the
I'm asking
purposes
about
of
the tape
this
recording
meeting,
right now.
Okay, for the purposes of this meeting is adjourned. I would appreciate if Commissioner Costello, if you would share your information with the young ladies so you guys can have the conversation offline.
All righty. Have a good evening, everybody.
Yeah,
Bye-bye.
I put my information in the chat, so I don't know
Thank you so much.
if you
Good
need
night.
it in a different format.
Okay, and this meeting is adjourned. Have a great evening. Thank you.
Thanks, you too.
Good night.